There were times, I think, when I thought about simply concurring with the result and not getting into the mixed message of a dissent that then is oftentimes we see is used to challenge the opinion for reconsideration or up to the Supreme Court. And it really came down to a feel of your comfort level when you just knew you couldn't live with yourself unless you put forth your thoughts of your objections to the majority. And it need not often be long, because really I find in developing cases, and haven't only really, because I've only been on the Supreme Court less than a year, you know, we agree for 3/4 of the analysis, and then there comes a fork in the road, and that's where it is a bit of interpretation. And you know, we do primarily legislative intent. That's what we do, and we have a different. That's where we fork off into what could be a dissent, a C and D, a concurring, and a dissent, or maybe it turns into, as you all know, a footnote somewhere in the majority opinion that plays mischief later on. And so to me, it is when you just feel you've reached this point and you cannot agree on this component part. And it's something that haunts you. For me, it is something that I just realize I am here on this court. I have these principles. This is part of what I bring to the table, is where I diverge in this fork. And so this is where I'm going to write my piece.
Sometimes you just have to write the decision, the dissent, you know, because you think that this is important. I can't agree. It's a matter of principle. It is something I can't go along with. My 6 colleagues are wrong. And so you write a dissenting opinion, and just because you have to. And it's a freeing exercise, too. You can really write a little more loosely. I don't mean in language, but you can be a little less cautious and speak your heart, as well as, of course, the law. And it's a wonderful opportunity sometimes when you find yourself in that position of having to do it. So there is actually a role if you use it very carefully, and sometimes you use it to speak to your colleagues and they move it along. And sometimes, as Justice Ginsburg said, speak to someone else, like the legislature, and you get them to change the law, which she's done a couple of times.